the life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. Gotta get your arms way up in a cage and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loom that's trying to bet you like what you feel. Step on a deck, give it a whirl. Hello, welcome to my world.
What's going on, all you Facebook Live and YouTube Live fishing freaks? What's going on, guys? Welcome to this episode of On Another Line Live. What's up, JR? How's it going? Like my dad used to say, how's it hanging?
Well, it's pretty good. Pretty good. I just saw the mighty Metallica, so I'm still feeling pretty good from that. So
Did you see them like 2 days in a row or no?
Yeah, Friday and Sunday. So they played two no repeat weekends, so two shows, no repeats, and it was pretty awesome, I must say.
It looked like the attendance of that thing was super down.
Oh no, dude! It was 99% sold out. It was freaking nuts.
Well, I mean, like when Metallica and stuff was playing, but like through the day, it didn't like anybody was there. Anywho, welcome to this episode on Another Line. We're talking about a tournament that I had last weekend, fishing with Pedro Bass Club, and just to sum that up,
oh, we suck again.
But hey, Tony, what's up, buddy? I got a really good piece of information today shared with me. So it's been a pretty good day today, and it kind of actually stems from you guys out there. So I appreciate you guys' support. Jared and I were just talking about how my YouTube videos, man, I've been doing a lot more and trying to post more and more shorts and things, and the long form videos just absolutely flop. Like I just posted the third day of the trip. The Dusty caught an 8.5 pound bass in, and it has like 135 views. But with that being said, I have been in contact with a new company, mainly due to Drew Sadler, who is my Shimano and G-Limits rep as well. Put my name in the hat for a new company to join their pro staff. And I use that term lightly, guys. I hate saying that I'm part of a pro staff. Pro staffer means promotional staff, right? But I will tell you, I've been looking forward to this for quite a while, and it's a long time coming. And I have my first bit of gear coming from them this week. And without further ado,
Gil.
Boom! I have been accepted to the Gill Pro staff, which is pretty exciting. So you guys are going to see some product reviews and things, and the deal is that they are going to let me review products based on my actual, what I really think of the products. Like, there's no punches pulled. I know it's going to be great quality stuff. I had a 100 miles per hour and 100 mile per hour Bass Pro suit, and it was like $800 back in the day. Misty bought it for me. It's been like 12 years ago, man, and this thing has been an absolute phenomenal rain suit. I wear it when it's cold. I wear it, if it's raining or if it's just cold out in the morning and not raining. I wear the bibs, a lot of times in the fall and the spring. And then I started representing Stormer, which I still am a part of the Stormer team, and that's super cold weather stuff. That's neoprene gear, stuff that you're going to be wearing when it's really, really cold around this area. Some of you guys don't have to worry about that. But my 100 mile per hour suit has seen better days. I think I told you guys the story before, but I was at either the Potomac or I believe it was Champlain. I was walking to weigh my fish in, had like 19 pounds of fish in my weigh bag, with probably another 50 pounds of water. So I was packing it up through there, and I got my pocket caught on a ring of the walkway. It was like a chain link where they link the chain to close it off in the wintertime. Ripped almost the whole side out of my pants. They don't make them anymore. They make guide wear. I just don't think they're the same. So I've been looking for new products and new things to dive into. And I wanted to try to do something that would kind of benefit Borders as well, because Borders, Brad and everybody at Borders have been so helpful and so kind to me over the years, that I wanted to try to promote something that they have, and they have been selling Gill for quite a while. So I actually have a marine rain suit coming in, which I cannot wait to get my hands on that thing. I've needed a rain suit since this time last year. So I'm really excited about that. So you guys are going to see some product reviews on that coming forward. And, I'd like to thank Michelle and Drew for the opportunity to represent such a fine company. It's going to be a good thing all around. So you guys are going to see some products that you can actually go over and get your hands on at Borders. This is not something that you have to order. You can order the stuff online, but anything that I show you on my YouTube channel or you see on this channel here on Facebook, you can go over to Borders, and if they don't have it, they can order it for you, which is good stuff.
Cool, man. Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. It's definitely got a good name. There's a lot of pros out there using it. So, and that's part of the Shimano G Loomis company that owns Gill, right?
No. They Sportco Marketing is just a marketing firm.
Distribution.
No, it's not distribution. They're the marketing firm. They're Sportco is the marketing firm that handles all the marketing for Gill. It's different, that's what Drew works for. Sportco is the North American marketing firm for G Loomis, Shimano, Power Pro, and Jackal as well. But I think what you're referring to is that Jackal and Power Pro are they distribute those two products. Shimano does, but no, Gill is their own company. But again, I got hooked up through them. Obviously, probably through Brad giving me a shout out. Drew, without him, it wouldn't have happened. So, got a lot of stuff coming down the pike. I'm pretty excited about that.
So Tony is a one guy. I feel like kind of a poser saying Master of Puppets now, but that's definitely my favorite. But the that show, the Netflix show, made it super popular again. But like Master of Puppets has literally always been my favorite. I remember being a kid and hearing it for the first time and hearing that the solo where Hetfield and Kirk Hammett were playing. It's not really a solo, but playing it together, and it's like just incredible. So they played it Friday. It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to get past the Black Album for me. And like one of my favorite songs is like almost like a B-side cut for them. But My Friend of Misery is so good.
It's a good one.
Man, Jeff, I hate to hear that, dude. Holy crap.
That's brutal, man.
That sucks. I hate to hear that. Strix Marine Plus in the house. Oh, we
double click.
Yeah. Back to Gary Timberlake's comment about it was tough. Grayson Lake is one of my favorite places to fish. It always has been. It's always tough, but I feel like I can always go there and catch fish. And this past weekend proved that to be absolute. Like, it was the most brutal day of fishing I've had in what seems like 10 years, man. Like, normally you can go out to Grayson and absolutely whack a bunch of like 10-inch fish, right? Well, Pedro Bass Club did the standard 15 and over and 12-inch over spots. They didn't do the slot limit, so those fish wouldn't help me out anyway. I did catch a limit of unders. They were like, I'm talking like 6 to 8 inches long. They were like cave run style. But water was up about 3 feet, which made it really tough. The water clarity was really weird. It was like a brownish green color, and it was fairly clear, 5-6 foot visibility probably. But the fish, I think, are all spawning there, and they're spawning where they normally would be spawning, which is 3 feet deeper than normal. So if they're spawning 5 foot normally there, that's 8 to 10 foot, depending on where you're at. You just couldn't see them. I talked to a buddy of mine there, Ricky Barnett, and he said that he missed a fish on a swim bait early in the morning and fished for that same fish on a bed for 4 hours before he caught it.
Oh my Lord. I don't have that patience, I don't think. I would be like, moving on.
Yeah. Congratulations to the young fella that won the Bassmaster Elite Series down at Lake Fork. Dusty and I have been texting back and forth about that event. We definitely are going to go back to Lake Fork and spend an entire week there. I feel like that we were there in time to catch a big bass. Obviously, we caught an 8.5, but that was a spawned out fish. I'm here, I'm here to tell you that was the biggest bass I've ever seen in my life. Like, no doubt, the biggest bass I've ever laid eyes on. It was giant. There's no way it was a 10-pound. There's no doubt about it was a 10-pounder 2 weeks before we caught it because it was spawning. It was 10 pounds. I swear I think it's bigger than that. I think it's 11 or 12-pounder because it was an absolute monstrosity of a bass. And then I saw some bass there. Again, I talked about it last week. They caught an 8.5-pounder out of Paintsville, and it didn't even look like the same caliber of fish, which is crazy. The thing was just absolutely massive. Had a ton of that was not spawned out. Was eating a ton. It was healthy.
Yeah, shoot, I just want to catch any near that. I would be very happy.
Yeah, Jeff, that sucks, man. You got to get back and get healthy, though. St. Clair right now is fishing weird and fishing tough. It's the year of wind and rain up there, and about 60% of the lake is freaking a mud hole right now. I've been talking to people that I know up there, and it's kind of crazy. So I think it'll be good. I'm thinking about fishing those Michigan BFLs as a boater out of the Detroit River. I'm not sure though. I'm thinking about doing that. I think the first one's like the 28th of June. So do you know how we doing, buddy? But I'm just tired of going up there and fishing out of the back of somebody else's boat when I know St. Clair just as good as anybody else, and it's just anybody's ball game at any given time. Plus, Kyle and I were talking about camping and all that stuff, and it's always a good time. So it is going to be a good time. A lot of controversy this past week over forward-facing sonar. Not even going to give it a time of day. It is what it is. People are going to use it as a tool. They have every right to use it. There's a lot of rumors going around in the rumor mill right now with bass, and if one of them is true, it will never change, and which is okay, whatever. But I heard today that Garmin was looking at actually potentially buying BASS.
Garmin.
Yeah, you know why that's happening though, but they got to get those. Got to get that forward-facing sonar in there somehow. But it is what it is. I use it. I mean, it's still a skill set. I'm kind of on the in the camp that it's still a skill set. I think these young guys that are getting all this hate because of forward-facing sonar, I believe they would still catch them if they didn't have forward-facing sonar. They would just find something other thing to catch them with.
Those guys, I mean, those guys are good at everything. They don't make it to where they're at without being versatile. It's just the way it is. I mean, they can naysay them all they want, but they're all good fishermen.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's just kind of. I think that's low hanging fruit when it comes to podcasts and all that stuff. But going back to the Lake Fork event, there was 10 Century Club belts, 100 pounds. So Century Club is 100 pounds plus in a 4-day tournament. It was actually won by Tucker Smith, who is a former high school All-American. He also was he's part of the Picasso pro staff and caught a lot of his bass on it was actually a tungsten forward-facing sonar head, but he also was catching fish on a new 6th Sense bait. And I don't know why they're keeping it so hush-hush. You think that they would want to, like, bring it out and have it, like, super, super I don't know, because they're going to sell a ton of them. It's kind of like the Morning Dawn chatterbait, right? I mean, Jack with Jack's Custom Jigs has sold like 1,000 of those things. I'm sure Z-Man can't keep them on the shelf.
Yeah.
But if you look at this bait here, I'll share the screen with it in just a second. But it looks to me, and it's really tough to see it from this angle, but he's got a big fish here, kind of bear hugging it. But it looks like just like a big. See if I can zoom in here a little bit. Just looks like a big giant fluke style bait. But it's something new coming out with from 6 Cents.
It looks like he's fishing an NRX Plus too.
Yeah, he's got a ton of Loomis stuff. Matter of fact, one of the I don't know if it's on here or not, but his picture showing those baits. I think he's fishing one of them on a. I don't know, fucking if I look through all this stuff. Look at this thing.
I
man.
saw that thing.
Japanese anglers are crazy.
The drift crab,
jackal drift crab. Think it'll work at Yatesville?
It looks like bullfrog eggs.
Yeah, you see right there. That's the only thing that it will show, but that's just that's a 6 Cents. Again, 3 16-ounce ball head tungsten from Picasso. Forward facing sonar baits are basically the same all around. There's another NRX Plus.
Golly, it's a massive bait that they're. Gosh.
Right there that's a zoomed wing fluke.
Yeah.
There it was. He's got a Conquest and an NRX Plus. It looks like this head here he's got in his hand is a scrounger head. It looks like that Sujin. Jerkbait. Jerkbait is always a player there.
That's the Bill Lewis jerkbait. Looks like.
Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says a jerkbait and a minnow style bait. All right, there's that Picasso tungsten ball head jig.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those.
He had it has a bait keeper on it, but if you look at the pictures from, I don't know if it's actually on here or not, but the picture of that bait, I don't know if he was putting like hot glue or something on the hook, but like where his hand's at right here, he has something that's making the hook shank bigger. So I assume his forward facing sonar bait didn't roll around that head. But I think it's kind of crazy that it doesn't have a loop knot tied to that thing. It's just directly to the eye. So maybe that doesn't make a giant difference.
Man, I'm not crazy about loop knots personally.
They got
water or anything.
You had Fighter and Hackney doing the old school flipping bushes and flipping pads and wrecking them too. I think they finished like 10th and 11th. Fighter, as you saw on that, was throwing like a white crawl bait and a white swim jig, was catching them in there. Lake Fork is crazy, man. I've only fished there once, obviously. That was a couple weeks ago. But it's really a cool lake. I mean, it's laid out. And if you don't know the story of Lake Fork, which I did not really until I started diving into looking at how it's set up and things, is that the Texas Parks and Wildlife built Lake Fork to make it a fishing destination, but the goal was to grow a world record sized bass in Texas. They've done that by building this massive lake, and it's not giant, guys. Lake Fork is not that big of a lake. I mean, it's big. Don't get me wrong. Like, you're not fishing it all in a day, but you can run from one end of it to the other in like 20 minutes. It's not that big of a lake. But there's just so much timber in there. There's so much vegetation. There's so much places for a big giant bass to hang out and spawn and things, and it's like has everything that a bass could want to get really, really big. And then they've, since then tried, once they built the lake, they went to Florida and got a bunch of Florida strain bass, or the F1s. So that's why the bass there get so daggone big and so large, is that they're all F1s, which they did that to try to create a massive habitat full of massive size fish to try to create a world record size fish. And it hasn't happened yet, but it's probably in the cards coming soon. I think the guy that we were staying in his Airbnb said the biggest fish that they've caught out of Lake Fork has been like 18 pounds. And I think the world record is like 22 pounds, and I think it was caught, or maybe 24 pounds, but it was caught in Japan, which is weird.
Man, those Japanese anglers are incredible.
Marty McFly back in the house. What's up, Braden? It is Lake Fork. I'll go back for sure. Couple of things. If any of you guys are looking to go to Lake Fork, let me know. I got some good insight from being down there a few days. So I'll go back to Lake Ten Killer as well. So fun. I posted that video last Monday. Dusty and I pretty much could catch them any way we wanted to. Caught them on a spinnerbait and a Type R all day. Caught some on a jig. And then we went to Fork and spent a few days there, and left and went to Caney Creek. Caney Creek was a cool lake too. But one thing that it does for me is that it allows me to it allowed me to look at my maps, my Lake Master stuff, and try to like pick apart things that I think fish would hold that people wouldn't normally necessarily think about. And Canyon Creek was really tough for me, and I couldn't find them. It turns out we found them. They were actually guarding fries, so they're right at the end of the spawn, so it was really tough. They're kind of in that lull period. The females they were tough to catch. Males were guarding fry. You could catch them with a forward-facing sonar bait or throwing a Carolina rig or something, and you could catch them. But I looked on my Lake Master map, and I saw this big hump that was out in the center of the lake. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I can't catch any fish here. It's just very few and far between. So I went out to this spot. I was like, well, it's 14 foot deep here. Everywhere else around is like 30 some feet. So I just tied on a DT8 in a red crawdad pattern, and I made one cast across that hump, and I caught a fish. I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is awesome. Like, this makes it worth it. And then I made another cast, and I caught another fish. And I made another cast, and I caught another fish. And I made another cast, and I caught another fish. I caught 4 fish, bam, 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 off this hump in the middle of the lake, which brings me back to a point. I think Steve was talking about it a few weeks ago at Borders when I was talking to him. That mapping has put more fish in a boat than forward-facing sonar ever thought about, and I am 100% in that camp.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, you can give a map to any fisherman, period, and they can say, oh man, look at that hump, that looks juicy. I mean, I think that's what I look at anytime I'm looking at maps, as opposed to just looking at what I'm going to fish. But one, I mean, you want to know where they're at, because if you're running, two, I mean, it holds fish. I mean, fish like an easy meal, and things running up on those humps is brings the dinner.
Yeah, and there turns out there were some trees out there on that hump, and it was like awesome. It was perfect. And then I tried to do that. I tried to run that same pattern in other humps that I found on the lake. Didn't pan out. I just pulled up on the right hump. Anybody out there been catching them? I haven't been out since Saturday. Sunday was Mother's Day. Took my mom to church, and then we went to Red Lobster, and I ate so much food that I think I'm still full. Really, really good stuff, man.
Man, well, first off, thank you to all the mothers out there. I wouldn't be here without you, Mom.
Yeah.
So, and then I would love to go to St. Clair, but I don't. It is looking pretty nasty this weekend. So 20 mile per hour winds with gusts of 30. that's no bueno. So this happens every year. Every year I try to go in May, and every year it gets canceled because of wind.
You can't be a pansy, man. You just gotta go up there and do it.
Yeah, I don't want to go 6 hours and fight wind the whole time. It's just not any fun.
Yeah, I get it. It's I don't know. It's we went up there and it was 30 plus. And it was fun. I mean, I caught almost a 6 pounder. I still can't break that 6 pound mark. 515 is my biggest brown cow. Caught it 514 the other day. Throwing a big swim bait. Matter of fact, I have some right here.
Bass and Passion. Were you in the canals? I guess.
Dude, the greenfish have been on fire up there. Smallmouth, not so much. These swim baits right here, Rage Swimmer, and this is just a Bass Pro Tournament Series Speed Shad. These bigger 4.5, 5 inch baits. So throwing them on a 1/2 ounce head because the freaking wind was ripping and had like 3-footers, keeping it on the bottom. And we didn't catch a ton, man. We caught 20 fish, 20 smallmouth in a day, and that is not good for Lake St. Clair. But one of them was almost 5 6 pounder. What is
That's
it?
pretty cool. He was saying he was catching largemouth on seawalls in the lake. That's really cool.
Yep, they're on there, man. Well, me and you
The
caught
blue wall.
we caught all those on that riprap wall there by the Crocker ramp that one time.
Oh man, that was a blast. Oh my
Larry Slack in the house. And that's the thing about Lake St. Clair, guys. Like,
you could find somewhere.
yeah, I mean, if the smallmouth aren't biting, like, so JR and I we caught the fire out of smallmouth in the morning. Like, we caught like 30 fish in like an hour. One of them was like 5'10", I think was the biggest one that we caught. I caught it on a spy bait. But they just got in that afternoon lull, or we couldn't find them, one of the two, or they moved out of where we're at. So JR and I made the decision to go try to find some greenfish. So I know this wall over here, I've caught a bunch of fish off from previously, and it usually holds some pretty good ones. And then we went over there, which is about a 5-minute run from where we're at, and we absolutely started whacking them. I think I got one like 5.5 pounds. It was a good time. Anytime, and that's the thing though. Like, I just wonder why people don't go to a tournament up there and be like, you know what, I'm going to try to fish for a large smallmouth for half the day, and if I can't get bit, then I'm going to go look for greenfish. Because I mean, I know why. I mean, smallmouth normally way heavier than largemouth, but it's kind of crazy. Yes, sir, Rob. And I'll tell you what. Quick note about the Blue Rock Custom Jigs stuff. Borders now is stocking most of Jesse's stuff at Blue Rock, so you don't have to order online anymore. Jesse is a friend of ours, lives in Athens, Ohio, makes all these baits, and he has a couple of jigs that I will not go outside of my house without. And that's a 1099 jig and a triple threat, and they have both of those options over at Borders, as well as some other stuff. They just stocked a ton of stuff over there. I'm not sure. I've been over there in a couple days, but they had some Zumvernos. Had probably being the key word. I talked to Brad the day after, so it was Wednesday of last week after we talked about it on the show, and he said that he had sold a bunch of them that day. So it may or may not be there, but it is a fire jerkbait.
Yeah, I actually bought some of those triple threat jigs today. So big shout out to Jesse, and I think we would love to work with him. I think he makes some really quality products.
Yeah, Rob, out there is the place to get them now. You don't have to order them. What's up, Tyler? What's up, buddy?
All right.
It is. I mean, the spawn is on us here, fellas. Here in Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia area. Full moon was, I believe, Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Brad says, I still have a couple Zumvernos left.
Okay, well, there you go. So there's a few. If you're interested, it's there. But again, the deal is that if you guys are just now joining us, the very first thing that we're talking about at the beginning of the show is that I landed a pro staff position with Gil, which I'm super pumped up about. I got the Meridian rain suit coming in. Doing some product reviews and things from them. Again, the whole deal is that all the products that we're using and seeing, you're going to see on the show here, most of the stuff you can pick up at Borders, like the Zoom Verno. And, one thing that I'd like to tell you guys right off the rip is that we're not paid affiliates to tell you about these products. The whole deal about this channel and this show is to show you guys what we catch fish on. I, by no means, consider myself a professional. I am nowhere close to being a pro fisherman, but I do like to fish, and I do have an absurd amount of fishing tackle, and I buy more every day, it seems like. It's a problem. Like I feel like the first step to having, step to fixing the problem is admitting that you have one. And my name is Tyler, and I am a fishing tackle addict. So
I don't have a problem.
There are some there's some baits out there that I've bought that I'll never use again. And you guys know that a whopper plopper is one of those for me. I think they catch fish, and they catch fish in certain times. They catch big ones. There's topwater baits I would much rather throw than a whopper plopper. But the baits that you see us and hear us talking about here are stuff that we use and believe in. It's not because we're paid to tell you guys about that. Again, the Shimano Zoom Verno, I didn't even know anything about it. I bought one after I read a review about it from the guys. I think it was Tackle Addict or someone was talking about it. I went out. I didn't know Brad had them. Went over there and bought a few of them. Went out and freaking whacked some fish with them this fall, and I've used them ever since then. Matter of fact, I told you guys last week, I normally stop throwing a jerkbait when the water gets about that spawn temperature, like 65 plus, and then I start throwing it again when it gets to 65 in the fall on all the way through the winter. But I caught a fish the other day in 77-degree water temperature on that jerkbait, so that says something. That was at Caney Creek in Louisiana. But the Blue Rock custom stuff, man, I posted a video about that the other day when I was out because it was so tough and grace, and I was like, holy crap, I got to take a break, put the old trolling motor on spot lock, and I was like, I'll talk about this triple threat jig because I was throwing one because it was so daggone tough, man. And if they will not eat a triple threat jig, they're not eating anything. I can promise you that. I mean, normally you can catch a bunch of dinks at least on that thing, but the reason I like that Blue Rock custom triple thread is that it has a weed guard integrated into the hook, really sharp hook, and it has a small finesse skirt. Basically, it's a skirted Ned rig is what it is. My favorite's a 1/4 ounce. I like that heavier head to get to the bottom. I like to be able to feel the bottom a little bit better. And that 1099 jig is awesome. It's a really compact jig. I think it was developed by Jesse and Whitney Stevens, I believe, Bassmaster Classic qualifying Whitney Stevens from up around the Lake White area. Got together, created this really compact jig. Absolutely catches the fire out of them. And it's a new addition there at Borders. Got a pile of stuff there. I'm sure they'll be adding more. So, if you don't see something they have, let Brad know. You can order it up.
So, which bait for a jig? I'm assuming probably a jig. Cross style bait most commonly for me. I like to have those legs a kicking, but a sleeper for me is definitely a Kitech. I'll put a Kitech off on the back of a jig, and I feel like I'm not supposed to share this information, but I do that quite a bit, especially smaller jigs. I'll put a Kitech on the back of it. Works pretty well.
Yeah. Let's see here. My go-to trailer for a jig, if you're talking about that, something. First off, I usually cut down a Jackal chunk crawl. And just to, I have to clear this up because I need to find out from Drew, or I need to actually get a definitive answer. I was told they were discontinuing the whole Jackal chunk crawl line this time last year, and I told you guys before to buy them up because it was an awesome bait. So I bought a bunch of them. I probably have 30 packs in my garage. I usually cut those down and use them for a trailer because they're just fire for anything. But I was told they were discontinuing them. But since then, I found out that they only discontinued the 4-inch model and still have the 3.5-inch model. I don't know that to be a fact. I'm going to have to find that out. because the reason I say that is that was my go-to trailer, and I don't use them for trailers anymore just for the fact that they're limited quantity. But I really like net bait stuff. I like the net bait tiny pocket crawl, and then for smaller jigs like the 1099, I was throwing a tiny pocket chunk this past weekend. They're fairly cheap net bait stuff. Zoom makes some really good trailers. You can get that old the kind of pig and jig type stuff. If you really want to get really deep into it, who was it? Was that Jackal, or who was it that had that pork style bait that was like $17 for two of them? Who was that? Brad had him over there for a while.
Was it
Mega Bass or somebody?
Honestly, I was thinking it was Picasso.
Oh, it was Picasso, I think. Yeah, I think it was
because
Picasso.
it was crazy. Like, I don't know. No, thank you.
Stuart, I have built a bunch of them. I built 100 of them, and I've sold every one of them. I've got a dude from West Virginia blowing me up about them too. I'm going to order some more stuff and make some more of them. They do work. Matter of fact, I've had 2 people send me pictures of big ones that they've got on this thing. And again, not my design, straight from Greg Drown when he quit when he retired from the tackle box, shut his store down. We all would buy our buzz baits there because they were like, the best on the planet, in my opinion. But when he was going out of business, I knew I couldn't buy them anymore. So I just had a candid conversation with him one day and told him that I was interested in making them and asked him what he did to make them so different. And, graciously, he told me exactly how he'd done it and showed me even. So I have it down and they do work. The problem is, man, I am just so freaking overwhelmed right now. JR and I were just talking about it. I'm sure you guys know I'm a high school teacher. My end of the year is coming up here. Next Friday is my last day, which I'm thankful for. But last December, I got a $2.2 million grant to start an advanced manufacturing center at my high school. And since then, we've built a 2,500 square foot addition on the back of my lab. And like, I've been making decisions and ordering tools and ordering CNC machines and making decisions about electronics and what electricity needs to be ran where and what doors need to go where. And like, it's an absurd amount of time and effort going into that, not counting doing that and trying to keep my YouTube channel and all that stuff up. But here, what I say all that to say this, coming up, not this next week because I'm still in school. After that, this summer, I'm going to be building a lot more of baits and things. So I will be talking to you guys more about it, but I will be able to get them out to you guys and potentially have some over at Brad's there so you guys can pick them up there. So with that being said, to answer your question, sir, yep, we have I have them. I can build them. Kind of is what it is. We'll have to kind of wait and see. Yeah, Brad just confirmed it was Picasso. It had those really high-end pork trailers. Crush City Plastics. Yes. I like the Mooch Minnow for forward-facing sonar bait. I also like the freeloader I've drop shot. I put a freeloader on a drop shot one time, caught some. The Bronco Bug is pretty good. Really like that one a lot. Matter of fact, that's what the last Elite Series before Fork was actually won on a Bronco Bug. I think they're good baits, man. I like the way that I like the texture of them. I like the style of plastisol they're using. I feel like they don't get tore up as much. My favorite swim bait on the planet is not either of these. It's a Kitech, right? The Kitech Easy Shiner. I really like them a lot. They are great swim baits, but good God Almighty, they get freaking mangled by fish. Like, you go up to Lake St. Clair and throw a 4-inch Kitech and catch 2 smallmouth on it, you're lucky to get those 2 smallmouth because it just destroys them. There's nothing you can do with it. You can super glue it. You can do whatever you want to. They're just soft plastic and they're just destroyed really easily. But I think that's one thing that Rapala has going for them with the Crush City stuff is like they have the right mixture of flexibility as well as functionality on their baits. Plus, I mean, let's face it, they got some of the best anglers on the planet designing those things. Jacob Wheeler, Dustin Connell, like there's just so many.
Yeah, I mean, really, when it comes down to that, I think if Z-Man could make a true Kitech style paddle tail, they would make so much money off of it because I mean, their stuff is so sturdy, but I don't think I mean, I'm sure they've tried, but to me, I mean, that's a gold mine because Kitech's always going to be the number one just because of its history. But
Yeah,
I
but
mean, the
if you look
Crush
at that,
Cities are all
so,
good.
I don't know. It's kind of leery to say about this though, but they're in the business of selling swim baits. They're not in the business of making them to where they last forever. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So they
yeah.
don't care if you catch one fish on them, they're done. This is more you're going to buy from them. Somebody put me on one. Big Bite Baits makes a swim bait that is about the same action as a Kitech, but is a lot more sturdy. Catch a lot more fish on them. I really like that one a lot. So I'm diving into that. But I'm really diving into the swim bait era of fishing. Like it's one of my go-to baits anymore, man. I'll tie I've been using somewhere between a 3/16 and a half ounce Picasso Smartmouth jig or a swim bait head. They have a Smartmouth Plus that is actually has titanium weed guards on it. I was throwing that at Lake St. Clair this past week. We were throwing in grass and I was catching fish inside the grass, which is cool. I also like the Fusion 19 Berkeley swim bait heads. Are really good. Like I said, I always have a swim bait on my deck of some sort, whether that's a really small, like 2-inch Kitech, all the way up to. I just learned this last year, and I said I was going to buy some, but I haven't. But they make the Kitech makes an easy shiner all the way up to an 8-inch.
That's what you need.
Dude, I will throw one. I don't care. I mean, that's crazy. Burrito swim baits. Yes, I have actually.
Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to be good. I have two of them, which I bought when I was first going to go to Texas. I don't know if I've ever even thrown it because that's the level of insanity that I am. I have all these glide baits and I have all of these big, nice swim baits, but the burrito ones, I think they're like $35. So, I mean, they're not cheap, but the action on them looks great. And then, let's see, Power Shot on a freeloader. That sounds pretty cool. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a big bait. A freeloader is a big bait. I mean, I know a lot of people use it as a chatterbait trailer. I personally never have, but it's
some people are using them for
work.
FFS baits too. Next tournament, man, I don't even know. Got a lot of stuff coming up here soon. Just kind of bouncing around. Like I said before, I think I'm going to go to Lake St. Clair the 28th of June and fish the Michigan Division BFL up there. It's coming out of the middle of the Detroit River, which I think is pretty cool. I hate that they have all 5 tournaments or all 4 tournaments out of the Detroit River at the same ramp. It's just kind of monotonous, man. Back when I started fishing up there, it was awesome. The very first year they fished at Muskegon and Burt and Mullet Lakes. Craziest places, man. You go all the way up there in the UP of Michigan, and next thing you know, I'm talking to Kyle and I are sitting here talking and look down at my phone. It's like 10:35 at night, and it still looks like it's daylight. Like I could still see him. It was crazy being that high towards the away from the equator. Just so light. It was really cool. You go up there and whack like 20, 22, 24 pounds as a boater. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna win this thing, and it takes like 35 to win. But I don't know.
The BFL coming up on Cherokee this coming weekend. I think Tyler and I think Brent are going to fish it, as I recall. So
yeah, Kyle's going to be fishing it down there as well. So you guys, one of you guys if you guys are fishing as boaters, you won't draw him, but you probably see him down there. He's right now at Gunnersville fishing the 3rd leg of the Toyota Central division. The whole forward-facing sonar thing has has crazy. The reason I want to fish in Michigan as a boater, not that I don't think that I can compete, is the fact that I just don't think that unless you sign up really early as a boater or you link with somebody, it's really tough to get in these events because nobody as a co-angler is fishing them anymore. Kyle signed up as a boater for the Central Division of the Toyota Series, paid his entry fee for the first tournament, which is not chump change, it's like $1,750 for the entry fee as a boater for a Toyota Series, and goes down there pre-fishing, and then gets a text message the day before the tournament saying that he was not confirmed for the tournament, and they were looking for co-anglers so they could get him in. He was like 5 or 6 on the list, so he ended up having to swap over to the co-division and fish. And even though he'd spent like 5 days down there pre-fishing and spent a ton of money down there and all that stuff, and ended up having to fish as a co-angler. And he's still fishing as a co-angler because there's not enough people to sign up for these events for him to jump in as a boater.
So Brent's fishing as a co-angler and signed up as a boater. Yeah.
I don't think you have to worry about forward-facing sonar down there as much. I think it will be a good tournament to fish. There's one place on the planet that I would definitely not sign up as a co-angler, and that's Dale Hollow. Like if you're not out there scoping, you're just hoping at Dale, and so you're out there in 40 to 60 foot of water, just dangling a minnow, hoping one swims by it.
Yeah, it can be pretty brutal there.
Yeah. Been really excited to get back out on the lake. The water, I'm going to be fishing a little bit this weekend coming up. Probably just do it. My goal is to hopefully not fish a tournament this weekend. I want to go out and do some fun fishing, shoot some content for you guys. Again, I told you guys I'm getting a new rain suit from Gill, so I'm really excited to check that thing out. They make all kind of cool products. They have a Meridian hoodie, which is similar to the AFCO Reaper. Similar in price. I'm excited to get my hands on one of those things to see what they like, because first off, the AFCO Reaper hoodie has saved my life over the last couple of years. Absolutely phenomenal product. They're really good, but again, Gill has some really cool stuff out there. The Meridian hoodie, which basically has the neck gaiter that can pull over your face like a face guard when it's extremely cold, and they are extremely nice. So I'm really excited to get my hands on that. But again, you guys are going to see the ups and downs of all these products, and I'm not a paid sponsor. I'm just going to give you my lowdown. Again, the deal is that all that stuff is available over at Borders. Hopefully we'll get them to stock some Meridian hoodies and stuff when I get them in and test them out, so you guys can get your hands on them.
Yeah, that should be good. I like the AFCO Reapers, but man, they are pretty. I kind of wish you could somehow remove the neck thing if you're just wearing them and you're not on the water, or the wind dies off and you could take it off. But I don't know how you could actually do that to where it would not, be annoying, or Velcro and all that jazz.
Yeah, see if I can pull this Meridian hoodie up. It's very similar to the Reaper. I don't know what the difference is. My computer is being extremely slow. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, it looks very, very similar. So you can see here, but similar price point. That's basically what the Reaper has. You can see here that it has a zipper here for the above the little kangaroo pouch. There's a zipper here, but other than that, man, it looks identical. I think the Reaper has holes underneath the arms of it, but I'm excited to get my hands on that. But just to give you guys an idea of the rain suit that I'm going to be reviewing, it is the Meridian rain suit here. Again, this is available at Borders. So that was the whole deal. Michelle from the company and Drew looked at Brad and the Borders family their bestseller, and it was this Meridian suit. So did that to try to get some good products in your guys' hands. Don't even know what color I'm getting. Don't care. Excited to get it and stay dry.
Yeah, I'd hope for that camo, man. That was sweet.
Oh yeah,
But I hope they give you pink.
I'll still wear it. Be out there. Oh, there's Tyler. He's not catching fish. Don't fish around him.
Yeah, I need to get comfortable with the swim jig. I hear so many people catching them on swim jigs, and I just don't have any confidence in it. And I want to get confidence in it. You know.
I don't know, man. If I'm somewhere I can throw a swim jig, I'll probably throw a chatterbait or a spinnerbait. I would much rather throw both of those. But sometimes if it's really thick cover, keeping it above grass or something, swim jigs work really well. I got about 200 of them in my garage. That's how much I throw.
Yeah.
Ever. I poured a bunch of them. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start throwing swim jigs. Nah, guess what? Didn't throw swim jigs.
Yeah. I don't know.
What kind of hooks are you guys using right now? I've bought a bunch of these at Borders at Christmas time. BKK, which stands for Black King Kong, as I've come to find out.
Black King Kong.
They have a really cool product that these things fit into. That's why these things actually have a package, and it's really tough for you guys to see. Probably see if I can solo myself here really quick. My light's glaring, but you guys can see that little black tab there. You can't read it, but it says, so this is a 4/0 or a 3/0 offset shank worm hook. But they have it so they can put it down in there. Matter of fact, you can buy a loaded kit for like $300. It has pretty much every hook that they make. But I've been using these things lately. I really like them a lot. I think they take a liking to almost like the Fusion 19. They feel like that same coating. They feel like a lot about the same hook, but they are extremely sharp. I used them down at Fort. Didn't have a problem with them. I've been pitching and flipping with those. I really don't care for a wide gap. But those were bought for me for Christmas, and I started using them. They work just as good. I'm a Gamakatsu fan myself, but I've been using those a lot. I don't know, man. Maybe the 24th. Let me check out the old calendar.
Next weekend.
It's bad, man, when you have to live your life from a calendar. Yep. So I might be able to fish. That's Memorial Day weekend, which is okay. That's Saturday, the 24th. I might be able to fish. I'm gonna be fixing a bunch of walleye and perch here at the house on Sunday, JR. If you want to come up about 4 o'clock, I'm gonna fix a bunch. Going to Columbus this weekend. I forgot Misty has a LASIK eye surgery appointment, like a consultation. So going there on Saturday. So I will not be fishing until Sunday. But that being said, probably will see me out there, Gary. I like Eastville a lot. Be out there dangling a minnow.
Hopefully not.
Well, hopefully not, but there's always that option. I'm a realist. I'll catch fish however I need to catch fish, and a lot of times that doesn't. That's I'll try to catch fish however I need to. We'll put it that way.
Rob,
most underrated lake within 50 miles. Man, that is a tough question. Greenbow is going to be mine probably. Really tough lake, giants in there. 50-mile radius is pretty tough. My favorite lake around here to fish is Rocky Fork. It's a little bit farther than 50 miles away, probably 100 miles from here. Really like fishing at Paint Creek. The sister lake is a little tougher, but if you wanted to make a day out of it or camp with your family, you could always go to Rocky Fork, fish there a day, stay in the campground, go to Paint Creek the next day. I like Rocky Fork way better. But man, like people, you know, I think that Greenbow is probably the most underrated lake because of the sheer giants that live there. They're few in numbers, but you have the opportunity. That's where I think you have the opportunity to catch a 10-pounder there.
Yeah, I bet so. It's they're
I mean,
just
I think,
eating those big old trout, man.
yeah, I figure that. I mean, Paintsville's coming on too. I don't know how far Paintsville is from here. It's
Sure.
probably
Yeah.
70 miles, isn't it?
Yeah, probably so. But I mean, Paintsville Lake is to me the most intriguing of all of the local lakes right now, just because the bags that are coming out of it. And I know I want to learn it. I mean, I fished Yatesville way, way, way more. I fished Paintsville twice ever, and you know, being able to catch that many fish without even knowing it at all was a blast. And I definitely want to learn it a little bit more. So I would say Paintsville then, even though it might be just a hair above 50 miles.
Yeah. Jason Kenner and those other folks, Chris Ferguson, and all the folks there in the Paintsville and Louisa area. From what I understand, coming up soon, they're having a vote on stocking F1s in Paintsville. And Jason Kenner's been asking for people to write senators from Kentucky. I sent an email, and I prefaced that email saying that I was not from Kentucky. I was from Ohio, but I thought it was a good thing, and it would bring money into the area because, I mean, I would travel there to fish, obviously, if they stocked F1s. I mean, if you look at Lake Fork, if you've never been there, is a freaking mud puddle in the middle of a cow pasture. Literally, everywhere you drive around that freaking thing is a cow pasture. And everybody goes there to fish. I mean, at some point, it's a bucket list for everybody, it seems like. Elites have been there. You know, they went there and freaking flat whacked them. 10 people caught over 100-pound of bass in 4 days, which is crazy. They're pros. They can do that. We're probably not going to go out there and do that. I fished there for 4 days. We didn't catch anywhere near 100 pounds. But, you know, it was a good, fun time. But look at all the money that goes into that, gets injected into that economy because of that. And I think around here it would even be more beneficial and easier to see a benefit from because there's so few things here that bring, you know, this, you know, that brings money in and injects it into, you know, the community. There's very few things that do that in our area. So it's always a good thing. And I don't understand their thought. My goal is that I have a 3-acre private pond that I'm able to fish. That's a family member of mine. I'm going to buy some F1s and I'm going to stock it in his pond. I've already got his permission. He says, go for it. F1s are not cheap. I did realize that. Biggest fish we caught on the trip was an 8.8, man, at Lake Fork. I just posted that video on Monday. It's out on my YouTube channel. Really cool deal. I was actually at a motorcycle show this past winter, and I was talking to a fellow from American Metal, which is it's a motorcycle parts manufacturer. I do a lot of cool stuff, but they come out with their own whiskey brand, and they were giving shots of that stuff away at this Mama Tribe bike show. And I was talking to them about this trip, and I told them that I wanted to do a PB whiskey to take with us on a trip in case we caught a PB or personal best. And they ended up giving me a whole fifth of this American Metal whiskey, and we took it on the trip, not thinking that we're going to crack it because mine's 6.5, almost 7 pounds, and Dusty was a 6-pound fish. Like, that's going to be really tough to catch a fish that big this time of year. And man, it was an Easter Sunday actually, which has made it even that much better. Dusty catches a freaking 8.8 hammer on a freaking 4-inch finesse worm. Texas rigged with a 3/16-ounce tungsten head that was pegged or weight, and it was just like, you know, that's what fishing is all about for me. Is I got to spend the time with Dusty, who's one of my buddies, and we were camping and having a great time, and we did not starve. We bought a bunch of meat from White's Meat Market, and I have this small little grill I bought on Amazon. We freaking had an absolute blast. Met some of the nicest folks on the planet, especially at Caney Creek. Those people treated us like family. You guys are going to see it coming up soon on the next video, actually. that I released on my YouTube channel about the Airbnb we stayed at and stuff down there at Caney Creek. I had a conversation with the lady the night we got there, and she was talking about how she used to own a crawfish restaurant. And I said, well, that's cool. I love crawfish. I said, but I've never had crawfish etouffee. I said, I'd like to have it one time. And she's like, you'll have it here. We'll fix it for you. So they did. They invited us into their home and cooked this big 5-course meal. And we had an awesome time.
Good Lord.
I think they're definitely spawning at Yatesville right now. Water temperature at Grayson the other day was 65 to 6 or about 67, 68 degrees, which is perfect. Full moon was this past weekend. They're definitely spawning. I'll imagine that's the water temperature at Yatesville is probably the same. Probably some that are, end of the week here, probably going to be looking at, coming off the bed in the next, week or so. You should be able to go up and find them shallow anywhere. You go up in like Rich Creek and get shallow and find them, probably, I would say.
Oh, Tyler, I'm supposed to go to St. Clair, but it's not looking good. Weather up there is looking pretty nasty this weekend. So 20-mile-per-hour winds with gusts over 30. So when the windy app is telling you there's going to be 2-foot waves, probably a good time to say maybe the weekend after or something. But man, I hope you guys do really well at Cherokee, man. I'm very intrigued to go back down that way. It was an easy drive, and Douglas was beautiful. So knowing that you guys like Cherokee a little bit more makes me even, more excited about it. Tyler just disappeared, reappeared, and is now frozen. It's pretty interesting.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're frozen.
Oh no, we suck again.
I know. I was getting ready to play that. You have the face of bewilderment on you right now.
I can't do anything over here.
It's that Ohio internet, man. Shoot. Yeah. Actually, we're kind of at that 1 hour mark. Tyler is getting disconnected and maybe reconnected here. There he is. So,
and I'm back.
Welcome back. I was just saying we're at that 1 hour mark, so we'll probably take any questions and anything you guys want to talk about. We can talk about it, and if not, we're gonna hit the hay.
You should go down to Gunnersville this weekend. They have that Toyota Series this weekend, which will suck, but they're catching like 100 fish a day down there.
Yeah, that is my next exploration lake is Gunnersville, without a doubt. I want to learn that
speaking
lake.
of which, there's Brandon Ryan. What's up, buddy?
Lots of bigs at Gunnersville. Shoot. I'm dying to go down there.
It's a great place. Big lake. But yeah, so I'm excited to get out. Probably go. I might go to Paintsville on Sunday to beat around the area out there. But just to recap the show, a lot of stuff happening. Picked up Gills as a sponsor. Blue Rock Custom Tackle stuff is now available at Borders. Does have a few Zoom Vernos left over there. Still got a bunch of Picasso stuff available over there. And as always, I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't think it's going to be the life of the channel. But right now, anything fishing related, you can go over there and tell them that you heard about it on another line and save yourself 10%. Again, that is only fishing related items. Does not qualify for guns, ammunition, safes, or anything in the hunting line of size, bows, anything like that. Strictly fishing, but save yourself 10% on anything in the store. For right now, that may dry up eventually, so you might want to go over there and take heed of that. Go over and get you some 1099s and a couple packs of triple threat jigs and go fishing this weekend.
All right. Thanks, Gary. You guys have a good one, and Hope you guys get out on the water.
Yes, sir. So we will see you guys next week, the same bat time, same bat channel. Metallica. See y'all.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of On Another Line Live. We truly appreciate your support, and we couldn't do it without all the amazing folks at home watching week after week. A big thank you goes out to our sponsors, who help make this show possible. Malone's Marine, Borders Sporting Goods, Solar Bat Sunglasses, Picasso Lures, Shimano, and Columbia Sportswear. Their partnership allows us to keep bringing you the content you love. We'll see you next time on Another Line. Until then, get out there and lean on them.